this is what we were talking about yesterday in the review, right? Look, we have the first pullback to the 34, this big demand zone. It's holding this level. And then we started to see, this is what we were talking about yesterday. It came flushing down first, but then now ripped back up to the trend line. So down here, support this morning. Look at this. Little fake breakdown in your demand zone. Fake breakdown. Right off the support once it reclaims. Upper trend line target. Pretty nice. All right. This morning, RLYB, shitty small cap. Obviously, just should have traded it. Number one, pretty far off of the 10-minute EMAs up here, right? Even off of the 8. Look. 58% off the 10-minute 8. Now, guys, it didn't have the best stats or the best looking chart. But at the end of the day, JJ Fade 23 system, 330. Multi-touch pivot, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yes, it's pretty beat down, way below some fibs, whatever. But at the end of the day, you guys, what happened at the open was we got a perfect stuff trigger. Boom. Should have just shorted right there. Bam. All the way down. Now, it doesn't have all-day fade criteria, so I wouldn't be surprised if it started grinding back up. Because why, guys? Why? Because there's no friggin' gaps. Look, no gap stats, high twos, whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if it started grinding back up because of that. And now, I don't really try to all-day fade stocks that don't have the best gap stats anyway. So at the end of the day, look, guys, this is the thing, right? Make sure you remember to check what's below you. Where's an obvious place to bounce off of, right? So now maybe it wants to go back up because guess what? It's way below the fibs. Even if you put your fib right here. Right? You could easily go back up to here, here, even here. So that was a pretty good short if you hit the trigger. I missed it, obviously. And then ELYM was kind of another one that was like a little weird. But guys, again, trigonomics, right? This isn't the best setup. This one's like same kind of thing. Big, shitty bottom. But look, we have a good level here. We have some pivots. Yeah, ultimately I wanted to go higher up to this level. It really bounced off of a couple, not the best pivot. This one right here. Let's see. Where was it at the high? Up at 470. So, not the best pivot. If it came up to here, it would have been better. But, again, right? Maybe you don't want to trade it right here because you're like, oh, I want it to go higher, right? But once you see this fake breakout of the pre-market high, that's a pretty good trigger, right? Pretty good trigger. The volume's not super high, little around 1 million. That's a pretty good trigger right there. Breakout, fake breakout, then dump. And then you get a quick, obviously, again, you guys, trigger, then fib bounce, right? Trigger, then fib bounce. As usual, trigger, then fib bounce. So, this one could have been another one. It's not an all-day fader, so maybe you cover into some support. So what do you got below? All right. Obviously, there's a lot of pivots below. You have very clear pivot there. You have very clear pivot there. So, multi-touch pivot here. There's obviously pivots below to cover into if it's not an all-day fade criteria. And look, multi-touch pivot ends up bouncing from it. 1, 2, 3, starting to bounce off of it and go higher, so that's how I do it when it's not all-day fade criteria. Also, you guys, this is a fake breakdown at a key daily level, right? Support, fake breakdown, reclaim. And then look, guys, honestly, it's the same thing but the other way around, right? So up here you have a fake breakout of the pre-market high, then a fib bounce, right? Down here you have a fake breakout of the support into a daily level, and then look, fib bounce, except I did them wrong. Hold on. Same exact thing, but opposite. Trigger to the downside, high or low fib bounce. Trigger to the upside, high, lower, high fib bounce. Same shit. It's just same shit, different day. Yeah. Same kind of thing, just backwards. But instead, guys, I'll show you what happened with rent. Rent was obviously like when you zoomed out, like, what the fuck? Look at it. But guys, look what I noticed after, right? This is why I took the lower high setup after, because look, the daily chart looks weak, and yes, we came close to this pivot right here. But watch, you guys. We came close to that pivot, but look at the weekly chart. Look. A little over the 34. A little over the 34. It's only the second retrace to the 34. If you put the 50 on here, watch. I didn't even have the fucking 50 on here, but I was just going off a little over the 34, a little over the 34. It came close to the 50. Now, guys, obviously, what happened? This thing off the jump, right? I'm thinking, okay, we have a very clear pivot at 1350, plus it's the high from over here. Now, a lot of times when these stocks come down like this far, they start to hold, plus it held $10 big psych level. But right here, you guys, when this started coming up right here, started going. We build a ledge right here. And then it popped, fake breakout trigger, boom. That's not a bad short. You're right up against the 1350 level. You're up against this level, right, in the pre-market. It is what it is. It stopped us out. Who cares? Now I wasn't trying to catch the top anymore until right here. Once I saw it, look, guys, this goes up, fake breakout, but not a good level. And then it starts to pull back. Not dropped enough to make me think. Look how close it still is to the EMAs, right? Now up here, it actually goes pretty decent spike, pretty far off the EMAs. And then we got a big enough drop that I was like, okay, the temporary top might be set. So let's throw our fibs on. Now remember, especially on a stock with this much range, I want to be shorting above the 61 fib because otherwise it's not worth it. If I short right here, 22, I'm going to risk $2. 20, 18, 16, maybe it will come down to there, but I want it to be above the 61 fib because it gives us the best risk reward. So we rejected very close to 25. We had a big enough drop that I thought the temporary top could be in, and then we popped back up. Now the volume obviously was pretty close. Look, guys, 622, and the fib bounce was at 300. Is that 50%? Yes. So that's valid. That means you dropped. You bounced up on 50% less volume than the spike move up. Therefore, the only thing that wasn't good about this, it didn't have a lot of supports to break first, then back up. But the volume said, okay, the volume's cutting 50% on this spike. I'll take a short. It's worth it. All right, so shorting right here, 22.70. You know, risking like $1.50, and then, you know, you get good 2 or 3 hours on the downside. And as usual, guys, my first target when I do stuff like that, I take the pre-market data off and I'm watching the 10-minute EMAs. I'm trying to get back to the 10-minute 21 right here. Because this stock, look with the 10-minute EMAs, how far we are off the 10-minute 21.34. So we're using the smaller time frame, lower high short to bring us back to the 10-minute 21. They all do the same friggin' thing. Even, look, RLYB. Look, come back off the 10-minute EMAs, come back down to the 10-minute 8. This one's actually showing pretty strong strength because it couldn't even get to the 10-minute 21. But that's, you know, that's a good, that's why I always tell you guys to keep your 10-minute EMAs up on the side screen so you can see how extended you are for them, where you're flagging on them, you know, where you're, at least how far they have to come back.
Power of 20.
All right, so let's go over the watch list. So obviously, guys, MSTR, I missed it watching the other thing, but from the watch list, guys, look at this. Delete this shit. All right. Guys, big move up, strong move up, flag off the 8, first pullback to the 21, first pullback to the 34, plus multi-touch pivot, you guys. First pullback to the 34 plus multi-touch pivot. Now, you made a huge move yesterday, right? A huge move, and you broke this downtrend. Now, guys, that whole day, look, this whole day, besides right here, we didn't come back to the 10-minute 21 at all. So, on a flag breakout, look, you guys, flag break and retest also at the 21 on the 10-minute chart, which should bounce the first time. So the stock opens, still extended off the 10-minute EMA as it comes down, gives you a perfect hammer candle to long. Boom, you long right there, stop below, take profits at 3R, leave a runner, put your stop at even, or you can leave your stop under here and see if you can eventually start to curl off of here, right? If it did break below the 10-minute EMAs, we do the same thing as always. Then we're looking for secret setup, and we will be putting fibs on and trying to get back down to secret setup territory, which would make higher low off the low that we already made on the daily chart, which is also an inverse head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, just kind of a fucked up head, and right shoulder if we came back down to it. But more importantly, guys, is the higher low from the real low. Next we had Apple didn't reach out, didn't even come close. Cattle, you guys, obviously, we talked about this morning. Cattle, this was pretty crazy. And I don't love long and small caps, as you know, but guys, the stock made a massive move up. The volume starts diminishing by the time it gets back to the daily 8. There's barely any volume. And then what happens? We curl right off to 8. Right here. As soon as we reclaim this level, thing's gone. And we watched it. We were talking about it right in pre-market. It's coming down, it's coming down, it's coming down. As soon as in pre-market broke back over this, starts to rocket. And now it could easily go back to lower high position again. Maybe up to here. I wouldn't short it till it was up to there anyway, because that's a natural order of stocks, making higher lows and lower highs. GE, unfortunately, guys, double top setup, but it sucked because it didn't give us a really good entry, right? If you look, GE came up near here. This chart's also different than GE's charts are all fucked up for some reason on both things. But as always, guys, lower high position, right? Where is lower high position? Above the 61 fib. The higher it goes, the better. Problem is with GE, it just opened and dumped. It didn't give us really an entry, so there's nothing you can really do about that. This was a pretty good secret setup on it right here, guys. 10-minute EMAs crossed down. We broke the most recent level of support. And then we popped back up to secret setup territory. Lower high position, 61 to 78% fib for the massive short. Same thing as DPZ, which also didn't give us a great entry, right? DPZ, guys, double top setup. Look. The stock dropped pretty far, guys. I like to use the hourly and see how far. It even dropped below the hourly 50, right? It dropped below the hourly 50. It pulled back. It broke the 8, and then it pushed back up. All the way back up to double top. Now, this morning, I was really wanting to see like a pop, fake breakout or something, right? It just happened so fast, you guys. Another one that you just had to like, dude, just enter at the stock, just enter at the open with your stop above, and I'm not really into that. I would have wanted to see it pop and spike, like pop and fail and then short. The fact that it just opened and dumped, oh well, what are you going to do? 10-point friggin' drop, but that's the cookie. That's the way the cookie crumbles. If you just want to short at the open, you're going to have a much lower win rate. So it is what it is. I would have wanted it to pop and fail. MSTR is curling off the 10-minute EMAs again. So that would have been great too. And then coin didn't set up. Like I said, what was it? ANVS, we're already long. Why? ANVS flagging on all the daily EMAs, 21.34. Big volume push, low volume on the pullbacks. Now we have plenty of room back up to lower high position. If this stock wants to make a lower high based off this level up here, it's possible that it could run all the way up to the 61 fib, which we've seen a million times. So the risk reward down here yesterday on the entry was literally amazing. You could have got in yesterday where I said around 11:20, 11:30, risking pennies for this thing to possibly go back up and break out, right? You can't get any better than that, risk reward wise. And today actually gave you another little chance to get in on the fake breakdown right here at this key level, right? Guys, it broke it by a shmenny, and when I like these little shmennies and with bottom tails, through support and reclaim long. So yesterday was obviously better. You can also see, guys, if you look on the hourly, sometimes it's easier to see the flag patterns, right? So just because, it's easier to see. I actually, guys, when I longed it the other day, I actually got a little nervous because it did a fake breakout of this wedge and fell, but then now it's holding. Now it should be good because now it's grinding back out. So that was pretty nice. And sometimes, guys, remember to look at the hourly chart too. If you can't see the daily chart, that if you're looking at the daily chart and you're like, oh, where do I get in? Where do I get in? Right? I don't know. Just look on the hourly. Sometimes it give you a better looking place to get in. Right? So now, hopefully, this will start to keep grinding. I don't even want it to break out high with volume. I just want it to slowly keep grinding on low volume. Keep going. And then when it starts to have a lot of volume and speed up, I'll be taking profits. So that's that's the way it goes. I don't think there was anything else on the watch list, but we didn't really have any great backsides. Adel just ended up breaking out, and now it's still holding yesterday's high, so that's like not ideal. This thing I knew was going to be a pain in the ass today, the way it traded yesterday. So just the way it's like chop, 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 chop. So I didn't really care what that thing did. You guys know how to stay in the zone, trading the easiest setups by now, and that's all you got to do. If you make sure you never lose more than 1 hour on a trade, you stay in the pocket, trading the easy setups with low risk, high reward trades, you'll be fine. Just have to, not be scared and just take the trade, set your stop. Don't watch every tick and let the friggin' price action trick you out, right? Some of the best traders that I know, you guys, swing traders and all, they just, they take their position, they set their stop, they just go live their life. They come back, they're either stopped out or they're fat in the money, and they don't really care either way. They just didn't watch every tick and be like, oh my God, it's going up, it's going down. It's going up now, it's going down, right? That's crazy. You can't live like that. You're just going to make yourself crazy, right? So we'll keep going over the setups every day. And, you guys, I know you guys know the setups already now, more and more. It is what it is. It's just trade the same setups over and over again, and you won't have many problems. It's when you're out here trying to trade all this random shit when you start fucking up, right? And then you overtrade and you just lose your marbles. Right? You don't want to freaking lose your marbles going crazy. Going crazy shit, fucking, just not worth it. So, I don't want to make the review too long. Anyone have any questions? Guys, remember, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I did take a long on CGC today on that trend break. It didn't come all the way close. It didn't penny touch the 21. But guys, remember what I tell you. It doesn't always penny touch the 21. If it starts to curl back up, it's going to pull the 21 up to it. It's going to look like it touched. So, when I posted that in the chat earlier, that's when I started. It broke the trend to the downside. And Heikinachis on the 10-minute chart turned green. And that's it. If it breaks that low again, I'll redo it again at the closer to the 21. If not, I'm in the driver's seat if it starts to push from here. It's the only thing I don't like about that. Oh, let me tell you. Let me show you. Guys, look. The only thing that makes this not my favorite is that we're still we're clearly, obviously, on the weekly chart rejecting the 50-day here. But we're above the 21 and 34. And this thing has dropped a shit ton. The only other thing is that we already went back to lower high position here. Pretty close. Not all the way, so I think we can still go higher. But we're going to have to hold these weekly EMAs and the daily EMAs. As always, guys, whenever you see a stock, so far we made a higher high right here, right? We made a higher high. We only came up to the 50 fib. The 8 crossed over the 21.34 is the first pullback to the 21. I have made literally 70% of my profit swing trading off this one simple strategy. The stock that has room to go back up to lower high position, that has made a big ass move up and hasn't retraced back to the daily 21 yet. So this right here is a flag, and I would expect it to break to the upside eventually. And we came down close to the 21. Now, if this starts to curl and go back up, it's going to pull this 21 up, and then it's going to look like it touched perfect. So you have to learn how to anticipate that without starting too early. Right? We also have a pivot here, guys. So if it goes lower, I will stop out and check how it reacts at the 21.34 with the pivot. Eventually, though, the only way this could have been better if it was already on top of the weekly. I don't even use the 50 all that much. So it's on top of the ones that I care about the best. The 8, 21, 34. But, you know, obviously the stock is super beat down, you guys. So if it starts to go again, it could go. That's all I care about. Big risk, little risk, big reward. Right? So, as you can see, now we just need to reclaim the 10-minute EMAs, and then it will stop going. Back to the trend line and hopefully higher, right? Oopsie. If we can get back on top of the 10-minute EMAs, we'll stop pushing back here and hopefully break out back to lower high position. So that's that. It's easy, simple, low risk trade. Guys, how did I get in the trade? First of all, I'm watching. The stock is getting closer to the 21, right? I expect it to bounce off the 21. How do I get in the trade? Do I get in the trade when it's just dropping? Nope. Right here. There's two ways that I get in the trade. Number one, we got a trend break with a bullish engulfing candle, right? That's my entry trigger right there. Number two, if you don't want to draw trend lines, you don't want to use bullish engulfing candles, what do? We put the Heikin-Ashis on, and we wait. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait. We know we're near our level. We buy on the first green Heikin-Ashi candle close. That's it. Put our stop below. Very easy. Look, Heikin-Ashi, red, green, red, green, red, red. Heikin-Ashis at key levels work good, you guys. Look at the flags on the Heikin-Ashis. Green, 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 red, 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 buy. Right? It's just, if they're, now look, here are EMAs here. Red, 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 we're at the fucking 10-minute 21.34, green, buy. Red, 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 we're at the 10-minute 21.34, green, buy. Right? It's just, look, red, 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 at the 10-minute EMAs, green, buy. Just the way it is. Strong move up, flag off the 8, green, buy. Extended away, right? Those things work good if you don't want to draw trend lines and wait for triggers like trend breaks and fake breakdowns and shit, you know. So it's an easier way to do it, especially if you're trading on your phone or something and you can't draw trend lines good or see trend lines good and yada, 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 right? A lot of people don't use the Heikin-Ashis. That's the only thing I use them for, just entering trades at good levels. Sometimes it's very more easy to see instead of red, green, red, green, red, green, right? You'll notice even on bigger time frames, let's say, like, see, it looks a little sloppy. Now look, you guys, right? It looks a little sloppy that way. Now look, a strong move up, pull back to the hourly 21. The red Heikin-Ashis turn green, long, right? Put your stop wherever. Red, 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 back to the 10-minute 50. Do I buy it here at the 10-minute 21? No. Do I buy it here at the 34? No. Do I buy it here at the 50? No. Boom, green Heikin-Ashi, long. Back to the 10-minute 21.34, green Heikin-Ashi, long, right? guys, this shit will clean up your charts so good, and you can just use it for entry signals at your key levels on your setups, right? So I'm hoping that we get an hourly green Fibonacci here now, and then it starts to push, right? Maybe it wants to come down to here. I don't know. We'll see. I can't see the future. All I know is I take valid setups with good risk reward. That's all that matters. And in the end, you get paid. So that's pretty much that. So also, guys, this is starting to like reclaim this level right here. Guys, see this big bullish candle right here? It's not super high volume, but that's obviously a demand candle, right? It's also a multi-touch pivot right here. Touch. This stock it went under it, and now it's back over it. So that's also what I like to see. It fell below it, reclaimed it. So now we're also a little extended off the hourly EMAs. So let's go. All right, guys. I'm not going to be here tomorrow, remember. So please just help each other and, whatever. Just, you guys know what to do. Don't trade any random shit. Get FOMO and get smoked on a Friday. All right? All right, let me stop the recording.